to the Paint, Rest, Repeat podcast with Roz Gervais and
Laura Day, where we chat about our creative lives as artists while keeping it real and a little bit messy.
we're here to inspire creatives just like you to push past those boundaries and make art that you love. Let's dive in. Welcome everybody to episode 78 of the Paint, Rest, Repeat podcast. We are going to be chatting today about the third step in the 3 essential steps to grow your creative business. We're very excited about this one today. Fun story. We've already recorded this intro, but my tech mishapped, failed.
Yes.
And so we're doing it for a second time, but that's okay. I've had some practice and I'm still making mistakes. It's fabulous. It's good around here. Imperfect action, right, Laura?
Yeah, that's what we're all about. That's how we started this podcast.
True. Don't listen to episode 1. Oh,
now you're directing people there.
It'll be entertaining. Come on. We should do that sometime. Anyway, sorry. So this is the step 3 in this particular series. Now, if you have not listened to the start of the series, go back to episode 72 because we lay it all out from the start. And then we basically alternate because we like to pop in interviews in between. Don't know if you've noticed. So it's 72, 74, 76, and now 78 is the third step. Now, for this third step, we are talking specifically about collaboration and networking. And we put a lot of energy into choosing our 3 steps to share with you because we care about you and we want you to succeed on your journey. And so this one has been included, obviously, on purpose with great thought and reflection and research as well. Why have we included this one, Laura?
It has been a really important step for both of us in expanding our visibility as artists. And once people know what you're doing, these opportunities, you know, it might seem to an outsider or a beginner, it's just landing on our laps. But, you know, that visibility piece and that connection piece, and letting people know what you're doing is where, you know, you get these really amazing opportunities in your creative career.
Yeah.
So this episode, we're going to be chatting and giving you some practical action steps on how you can incorporate collaboration and networking into your creative business, as well as some mindset hacks and things that you might be able to do to help you on this journey to, expand this part of your business. And we've also got a free training offer from Roz that we'll be talking about towards the end of the episode. And I've got a podcast promotion as well. So
it's all about your retreat, which currently, we'll talk more about it at the end, but currently at the time of recording, you only have 1 spot left in.
I know, I have 1 lucky last spot. So if it's been something on your mind, you've looked at the experience and it's calling to you, don't miss out. It's going to be an incredible adventure, but we'll talk about that more later on.
We also wanted to mention something else, which is our podcast birthday party, because we've been going for how long now, Laura?
3 years.
It's a while.
Yeah.
You've given me more grey hairs. I'm not sure if it's you, Laura, or if it's
you're getting older.
Just aging. I don't know. No, it's not you. Just teasing. But yes, it's our 3rd birthday party. And so we have decided we're going to put together a party or a catch up, a brunch date.
A brunch date.
A brunch.
I don't know. We didn't label it. By the
like
time this episode's out, though, I'm sure we would have been talking about it on social media. So some of you might be already aware of the catch-up that we're organising. But it's going to be in Sydney. Yeah. I'm going to be flying up from Victoria and super excited to see you in the flesh, see you in person and give you a big hug. And yeah, it's just a chance to network, which is very relevant. Very relevant to this episode, isn't it?
This is very true. So it's going to be in November on the weekend of the 23rd and 24th. We are thinking at this stage it'll be on the 23rd in the morning for a brunch style thing, but definitely DM us, check our socials and all of that jazz for the fine details, because we are recording this a little bit before that And yeah, so more details yet to come really on our side of things. But that's going to be fun.
Yay, exciting.
Yay. All right, shall we dive into our topic today?
Yeah, so should we cover who's this for?
Yep.
So really it's for you, our beautiful listeners,
I was like, oh,
who
it's for me. Thanks, Laura. You're the best.
creative business owners who like want to grow and expand their art business. And yeah, as we said, we're assuming that you've listened to the previous episodes. So just go back and listen to 72, 74, and 76. And then this one's the follow on and the last and final step.
What's a creative business owner, Laura?
Artists, designers, illustrators, photographers, ceramicists, like visual artists,
Yeah,
all
creative.
sorts.
Hmm.
Yeah. I
Just
work with
different.
art therapists as well. So yeah, different people in arts practice.
All right. Cool beans. All right. Just here to ask the questions. Okay, so we talked about that one. Now we were going to dive into talking about collaboration and then networking, basically as two separate sorts of things. And then we've got some practical steps, like action steps, tangible things, real things that you can do as our beautiful listeners to integrate this collaboration and networking content ideas into your own businesses in a way that works for you as well, because we are aware that this whole idea of networking and leaving the house, going to events with real people in, big rooms and mingling might feel a little bit scary to some of you, because I know a lot of artists are quite introverted. They prefer to stay in their studio or at home if if their creative space is the kitchen bench, and they prefer maybe to do this networking stuff just on social media, say, because they don't have to step too far out of their comfort zone. So yeah, we'll touch on that as we go as well. Options that can work for those of you who might be a little bit on the more reserved side. Are you an
Yeah.
introvert, Laura? Have you shared this before?
Yeah, I've
Where
done
do you
it.
sit?
I'm half and half pretty much. Yeah, I'm both. So I love
That's
being
just
around
greedy,
people.
Laura. Like that's just fence sitting. Like just decide, black and white, no gray around here, Laura.
Yeah,
I'm stirring.
yeah, I'm a mix because like I do love social interaction. And I think like maybe that comes from like if we're talking about from an astrology perspective as well. I'm a Gemini, so I love talking and chatting, and that is probably why I love the podcast and talking with you, Roz. But yeah, and then also I get quite tired from the energy exertion from being in a social situation. So I think I'm better one-on-one, like I like one-on-ones. But then yeah, in a big group, I just sort of get a bit lost and a bit overwhelmed and but then it's fun so too. So I actually enjoy those interactions. So I just need it's a bit of a balance. And what would you say you are, Roz? Introverted or
Oh, I
extroverted?
don't know. Sometimes I'm not sure, but I think I'm an extroverted introvert. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. I think I struggle a little bit with constant output. So I can't socialize for, days on end. That's
Mhm.
why actually coming to your retreat, I put a note in to send to Laura, and I said, just letting you know during the retreat, I'm going to need some alone time in the mix, because for me, 7 days straight, 6 days, 6 days.
Yeah,
Mm.
the first day's arrival day. So yeah, I technically it's 7 days, but active in the event is 6 days, I guess.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like 6 days contact time, 24/7, can't do, will not compute. You'll see my brain basically start to explode. Like there'll be springs everywhere, like flying from my
hmm
head. So yeah, need that recovery time.
Yeah.
So we'll pepper that in, salt and pepper it in to the chat today.
Salt and pepper
Salt and
in it
pepper.
into
Just pepper. Oh, just don't even bear. Anyway, it's all fine. We're going to pepper that into the chat today to just make sure everyone's feeling covered. So, collaboration. What's the difference between collaboration and networking?
Yeah, so a collab would be working with other artists or working with an organization or like council or other creative professionals, like a gallery owner maybe, or a brand or something like that. So that's working on a project together. Maybe like usually like it could be like short term or long term. and it's usually project based.
Mm-hmm.
And then networking is just in general, like making connections with people within your industry. It is about that relational, relationship building, and whether it's talking to your peers or other artists, whether it's talking to like maybe your trainers, or it could be mentors in the industry. It's just, expanding your professional connections. That's how I see it. What about you, Roz? How do you see
Yeah,
it? See
I
it?
like that summary really. The collaboration side of things is usually project based. I agree with that. And then the networking side is, yeah, just expanding your community and your connections and,
Mhm.
getting your name out there. It's that visibility sort of piece.
Yeah.
Now, with the collaborations, we've made a bit of a list of ideas for artists. So either collaboration projects that we have been involved in ourselves, and also a few left of field ideas as well that we've seen other artists being involved in. So I've got on my list for my personal experience, some of them are doing a group show with other artists so that we can crisscross our audience members and sort of share the love. I have my involvement in a collective as part of the Affordable Art Fair recently. And then also our podcast here. This is a collaboration, a 3-year long collaboration. And yes, you need to come to our birthday party. But what else do you have on the list, Laura? What else did you write down?
Oh, I've done so many different collaborations over the years. When I first moved to Ballarat, I remember doing like a tea towel competition. And so I was using my skills to sort of, put out a call out so I could meet other artists. And so that was in connection with Leadership Ballarat. So that, yeah, the motivation behind that was the visibility piece. So I was moving to a new town, and I wanted to people to know that I was doing screen printing, because that's what I was doing back in the day. And then also I got together in a collaboration with 2 other artists, and we run pop-up shops and events before Christmas time at a local space down here. And then another recent collaboration is corporate events and workshops, and that's with another artist, Vanessa Maver. So yeah, really beneficial to getting my work out there, and propelling my business forward. And of course, our podcast, that is considered a collaboration.
Yay. And then the other angle here as well is that collaborations also make it more fun. It's like it can really sort of spice things up a little bit on that salt and pepper theme from earlier that I mentioned, and just make things a little bit more fun as well. So it's a good thing to have in the mix just for that angle. Now, we were talking off camera earlier as well about some other collaboration ideas. So brand collaborations that can work either in like a paid licensing sense or even a free sense with like BioCup, for example. You've heard of them? We were talking before about them.
Yeah. So yeah, we've seen on social media other people applying for these different collaborations. So Bravery Co with the scarves, and then Gorman as well. And there's a few other brands that sort of pop up from time to time to, like, they have art prizes and people can apply to have their art printed on certain products and things. I know that another artist, Rach Jackson, had some of her artwork printed on Maxwell and Williams. So that's like ceramics, like cups and plates and things, and maybe some tea towels with them. Yeah. So there's these opportunities that come up from time to time, and bigger companies will do a call out for artists to apply, and some of them are paid and maybe some are not paid, but those opportunities are out there, and it is all about that visibility piece, getting your work out there and getting known.
Definitely. And then a few other things I had on my list are doing giveaways, which I think that was super popular, say 5 years ago. I think the social media
Mm,
giveaways, we see
yeah.
less of them now, but that's still an option out there. Even going live with other artists on Instagram and going live together and doing that as a bit of a series, that's a great collaboration. Doing Instagram story takeovers, or another one that I just wrote down as well was charities. So actually
Yeah, of
collaborating with a
course. Yep.
charity, yeah,
Mm,
to build their, like, basically to build some donations. I actually, for the first time, I think the first time, but definitely first time in my memory, I've added a charity to my Instagram handle, thingy-ma-winger. So
mhm.
you can do that as well, guys. Like if you're wanting to create some sort of power and some charity to, donations towards a charity that means a lot
Yeah.
to you. You
Yeah.
can pop that as a link on your socials as well. So anyway, that's the charity angle as well. So that's collaborations.
Yeah.
Oh, on the group show topic, did you want
Yeah.
to mention a particular show that's coming up? That's a fabulous collaboration example.
Yeah. So Vanessa Maver and Brie Morrison and Amy Compton are having a joint show on Saturday, November the 16th. And this is in Melbourne. It's at the Green Space in Mentone. So yeah, we were sort of thinking about different examples around and practical things that you could potentially do. So networking online and this is I guess it's connected in but it was under our list for networking. Yeah, but it's also like a really great example of a collaboration of three artists coming together for a group show. Roz, can I share some more around some collab examples? We were also talking about co-hosted workshops and events. So, for example, like the pop-up shop thing that I was involved in, or yeah, getting together with another artist to run workshops. Another example was content creation collaborations. So, you might want to do some joint blog posts, a podcast, or like a video series together. And then collaborative like product launches. So, for example, like a ceramicist and a painter could get together and do like a joint product thing, or like an illustrator could team up with someone that makes candles. So, yeah, there are different interesting things that people could do. Even like artists or painters teaming up together to create a series of artworks together. Like I've seen people do like that, post around like different artworks and you add different bits and collaborate in that way. And I'm sure that there's so many more, but yeah, we just thought of some examples that we've seen in our world of interesting collaborations.
Yeah, and hopefully, this list of ideas essentially inspires you, and perhaps some of them are, popping up in your mind and going, "Oh, yep, yeah, yeah, that sounds really interesting." Because I do think with the collaboration side of things, it has to be led by joy, right? So if something sounds fun and joyful, then that might be a good thing for you to look into. But we will talk about that a little bit more in a moment about the steps you can take to actually choose which opportunities are or which collaboration ideas and opportunities are the most suitable to you in your
Hmm.
business.
Yeah.
So we have the collaboration side, and then the next one is the networking. So we talked about networking really as being mainly about the connections and the relationship building, really sort of, keeping you front of mind for people as well, and planting those seeds for those future opportunities just to seemingly randomly pop up. They're not really random. They've been built from these connections that hopefully you will start to develop now if you have not already started. So some examples I had of this were going to local small business breakfasts. I know my area offers those quarterly. Going to your local art society catch-ups. They might be monthly. Going to art fairs and actually going to the drink sessions and sort of mingling with the other artists, and getting your name known as well. Going to gallery openings, that's sort of similar, I suppose, to the fair drinks. Artisan markets as well. Did you have anything else interesting on your list in terms of networking, Laura?
Creative conferences and workshops, so like professional development things. And then like, yeah, you said artisan markets, but like art fairs as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
so and then it can just be like casual artist meetups, like whether you just get together with like a couple of your friends or people locally. But then there can be some official things, and that can be run like yeah, there's one running by council here, and yeah, so they're like proper like organized meetups specifically aimed at creative professionals. And depending where you live, there might be like a creative hub or somewhere that you work, or co-working spaces, or different things that are like actually officially organized.
You know what I'm thinking of? And for the life of me, I can't remember the name of the event, but you know the Jumbled event? The event, I think it's Jumbled,
Ah,
puts on that
yes.
huge creative thing in
Yeah.
orange. I really
Yeah.
want to go one day. I have not been yet, but
Yeah,
I've
I
heard
haven't been
amazing
either,
things.
and I can't remember what it's called either.
Oh, if you know, if
Yeah.
you're listening, and if you know, send us a DM because like I can't
Is
remember.
it the huddle?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
All
Yeah.
right, don't bother with the DM. It's off. The deal's off. No DMs. Just joking, just joking.
Another thing, like even just we did touch on the introversion piece and like, it can be overwhelming for some people to like put yourself out there, especially if you're not going with a friend or you don't know anyone there, like walking into a room and not knowing anyone. Social media, like just, popping into people's DMs and commenting on people's work and getting to know people through that. And then even emails, like I'd say building relationships through emails, like if you're, sort of messaging people and asking for advice or support or more information, say like you're building a relationship with the gallery or asking them about their acceptance like process and all that sort of stuff, like I'd say that talking to people and getting to know the specific name of a person behind an organization or your local council, like the council officer in charge of the arts, or applying for grants, actually, knowing that your grants officer and all of that sort of stuff. Like if you're just putting yourself out there in a digital way, social media or email or those sorts of things, I feel like I would consider that networking.
Definitely. I think that's a really good starting point. But I just wanted to put in here, Laura, I hope it's okay for me to share my view on this one, which is that if you're holding back or feeling nervous about the in-person side of networking and collaboration, it's really important to just look at that a little bit. And if you're holding back because you're nervous or you're feeling too introverted, just trying to think and sort of brainstorm some little creative ways for you to try to just dip your toe into that space, because they do say, I don't know who they are, but I say that the growth the growth and these opportunities for development are just outside of your comfort zone. So if you can sort of just reach just a little bit outside of your comfort zone, good things will come and you will grow, and your confidence as well will grow as well. So yeah, just keep that in mind. We've all got social media, we've all got email, we can all do that. But if you can just step a little bit out into the limelight, just a little bit, I feel like that will be really, really good for you.
Yeah, that's great advice. I think that, yeah,
Thanks. It's what they
sometimes
say.
what they say.
It's what they say.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, we can hold ourselves back in that way, and it can become blanket statements, and it's like, oh no, I'm introverted. I can't do that. I can't be in a big room of people. But you can challenge that sometimes, especially if it's going to benefit your creative practice by being in those rooms with people.
Yeah. All right. So we've sort of talked about that side of things, the collaboration options, some networking options as well. Did you
Mhm.
want to add anything else onto that before we dive into tangible steps?
No, I think we have given quite a broad overview and, shared a bit more about like the benefits and like some clear examples of what it looks like in our world.
All right.
So we can dive into the steps. Did you want to start with the first step that we
Sure.
had?
Okay, so some tangible steps for
Mm.
you to get some collaboration and networking into your art business, or to turn it up if you've already started to do a bit, but you would like to do a little bit more. The very first step is to actually go back to your vision for your art business so that you can get really clear, to sort of refresh your mind on what you're trying to build and where you want to be, in 5 years' time. Where are you headed? Because that's going to help you with the second step, which is, Laura, what? What's the second step?
Yeah, so once you know your vision, your direction, and where you're taking your art business, yeah, whether it's a teaching aspect or like, you're wanting to sell your work or you want to be in markets or fairs, you start to brainstorm ideas of what you want to do. So, yeah, think about the examples that we've given in this episode and what might be of interest to you, what is relevant to you in your creative practice, and what is going to align with your vision. And then that'll take you to step number 3,
which is step number. This is great. This is fun. We should do all episodes like this. Step three is around taking action. So basically prioritizing from that brainstorm list what you're going to take action on, and then doing the thing. So sending the DM to someone for a collaboration, looking up your local small business breakfast or whatever, if there is something like that near you, and then going along, and just sort of keeping in mind that there is always that gentle way to dip your toe in. So don't rule anything out especially when you're in brainstorming phase. Don't rule anything out there and then. You can sort of tweak those things to make it a bit more, I don't know, less intimidating, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you can be in your research stage and, send your emails or find out information or talk to another artist that's exhibited at a specific gallery or fair, and approach them online or things like that, or just chat in DMs to people. But then I don't want you to sit in research stage as well. Like it is about taking action and being brave and putting yourself out there and things like that. So thinking about ways that you can make yourself comfortable when trying to take those steps.
Definitely. So what's the punchline for today?
I guess that, the benefit of using collaboration and networking for your creative business growth and success, it is all about like expanding your visibility as an artist. And yeah, it is going to benefit that long-term vision, like that long-term growth. So yeah, what would you say?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I've sort of written down as well. It sort of plants seeds for your future, gets that word
Mm,
of mouth thing rolling,
yeah.
and it invites in, yeah, those future opportunities that will seem like they're from nowhere, but they're
Hmm.
not really, because
Yeah.
you've worked hard for them. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So get out there, network online, find artists that you gel with, start a group show, or, go to that really amazing art fair that you'd love to show your work in one day, and just start talking to artists on the ground and just finding out that information, or yeah, those sorts of things. We believe in you.
it's true. I was thinking I'm visualizing some of our listeners turning up at the fairs with dark glasses and like a hat, like with the big brim. And sort of, full permission to do that. Like go to these things in like to, in a way that works for you. And I do that sometimes. Like I'll go to events. I might not be feeling particularly, what's the word, extroverted on that day. I'll still go, but I just will talk to less people. Or
Mm,
I'll bring my daughter, which sort of helps me as an excuse. I'm just focusing on her sort of thing. That, yeah, there's ways around things. You
mm,
can be involved at a
yeah,
capacity that in a capacity
yeah,
that what matches your
yeah.
energy, your vibe at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can invite someone along like that, having that extra person, like that's a good buffer in a way, yeah, too. So you're just not walking into a room where you might feel quite intimidated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you have a retreat with one spot left currently.
yeah. Well, at time of recording, I do. I can't guarantee it hasn't gone to a lovely woman. But if the space is still open, I'd love to invite you along to join me. And Roz is going to be there with us
Yay.
too.
I'll be hiding
Um,
in my room the whole time. Just joking, Laura, just joking.
Just to let you know, it is introvert friendly. I've designed the schedule so we've got downtime, free time, and yeah, there's only two compulsory events as well. So, I mean, you can pick and choose what you show up to.
Tequila
Um,
shots is one of them, right? No? I'll bring that one in. It'll be
yeah,
optional, but
you can be
I'll
doing
bring
your
that one.
tequila shots on the beach, Roz, and I'll
Excellent.
I'll probably be having a nap, to be honest. Yeah, so I would love to welcome you. And I have a discount code for beautiful podcast listeners. It is PRR200. We are going to the most beautiful town in Vietnam, in Hoi An, my most favorite city. It's so charming and so beautiful, and I bet you will take a million photographs on your phone. And it's just about community connection and well, it's very relevant to this episode. Networking, being with artists that get you, you'll make lifelong creative besties by sharing this experience together. And yeah, I would love to have you there.
Yay, it's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. It's very, very special for me to be able to go. So
Yeah.
thanks, Laura, for
Uh,
creating this opportunity.
yeah, my absolute pleasure. I'm so glad that you're coming.
Yay.
And then you've got some free training for our listeners.
I do. At the time of this episode going live, I think it's day 3 of my training programming thing, which is free. But if you are listening to this on the day that this episode goes live, you are very welcome to send me a DM and you can get the replays for the sessions, basically. And you're super duper welcome to do that. So shoot me a little DM and I'll set you up. Now, this is called Next Level Artist, and it has been a 3-day free live series of training for artists in business, but it is not for the beginner artists. So this particular training is for artists who are ready to turn up that dial, ready to really commit and put in the time and energy to growing their art business. So it's for artists who have already had a few art sales, who've already set up their social media and things like that, and they're ready to grow and scale essentially and turn it from, baby business into, guns blazing, basically business. That's a terrible expression, by the way, Laura. Where does that come from? Guns blazing. All guns blazing. My brain is so everywhere today. Anyway, I'm very, very excited about this one. So if you would like the replays, just drop me a little DM. It also means that my VIP experience enrollment is currently open. So if you're looking to tap into a coaching program that's going to help you to scale and grow your art business, do drop me a DM and I'll sort you out. It does close soon though, based on my dates and all of my planning. So drop me that DM and I'll help you to learn more.
Yeah, amazing. That's going to be such a great program. And I'm assuming with your VIP spots, there would be limited numbers as well. Into that program.
I haven't actually decided because, we're recording in advance. But yes, there's definitely a cap because my VIP program is a small group program.
Yeah.
So, you're correct.
Definitely get onto all of that information and send Ros a DM if you want to grab that training. Yeah, amazing. And shall we remind people again about our podcast birthday catch up so we can see you in person, give you a big hug, and we would love to see you in Sydney. So keep an eye out and watch our social medias for all the information on that.
I also have a podcast review. I'm getting better at remembering.
Yay!
Do you mind? Is that all right? I'm going to drop that in.
Let's share.
Okay. So if you leave us a review over on Apple Podcasts, you can leave us a written review with your Instagram handle if you are a fellow artist, and then we can give you a shout out just like this one. So this is by Elaine Hudson. She is at @ElaineHudson_art, and she has said, great podcast. Just found your podcast and found it so informative. As an emerging artist who has yet to sell anything, you have given me hope. So we are very, very happy that we are cheering you on, Elaine, and helping to motivate you as well. We'd love to hear more from you, by the way. So drop us a DM because we'd love to hear how you're applying what's happening in the podcast and what we're covering so that you are actually growing your art business and building those sales too.
Yeah. Thanks for the review, Elaine.
Yay. All right, lovelies. If you haven't left us a review, do that. Spotify, 5 stars for good karma, Apple Podcasts, as I mentioned, because we would love to shout you out as well. All right, that's us, Laura.
Yep.
See you soon.
That's a wrap. See you soon.
Hooroo.
Hooroo.
See ya.
Bye.